I had nightmares of my own Delta troop coming against me when I got home, because there's no chance. When a troop hits a building, like you're done.
The Delta Force is the best in the world at hostage rescue CQB. Bar none, end of statement. I don't apologize for that. And if you were a Delta Force operator and didn't believe that, I'd question how much longer you're going to stay here. You better believe that, or you're not cut out to do this job.
You have to have the confidence that you're the baddest motherfucker out there and you're going to win in a gunfight. Like, that's the confidence you have to have. So if you don't have that confidence, you're going to be shitting your fucking pants, right? You're going to be the one running away from the fucking gunfire.
In 100 days, you're doing 90, 100, 110 hits, not including follow-on. So it's just nonstop every night.
Military personnel there loading up into the helicopters.
Right as I turned to face him, he opened up with a PKM machine gun. He starts shooting my equipment off, shoots my night vision goggles off. A round goes off the front of my armor, and then a round goes into my chest, right above my heart. And he's just firing, and he's following me, so I just took a couple steps and just dove into that hole of water. He's still firing into that hole of water. And I'm hearing the dirt, it's hitting the water. But if he'll quit shooting at me, I'm gonna ease up out of here and shoot back, if I get a chance.
Without question, in the U.S. Army, being a Delta Force soldier, and I spent 9.5 years in a Sabre Squadron in Delta Force, that is the most difficult, the most physically demanding, the most dangerous, the most intense job in the U.S. Army, hands down. I would put that job up against any job on the planet, but I can tell you in the U.S. Army, there's no question about it.
Boy, Tom Malicious, killing stance.
What was selection like?
That's the most professionally run course I have ever attended. From in the beginning, from the classes that they give you to make sure everyone has been provided with the same amount of information and you're all at the same level, so nobody has an excuse as to why they were or weren't successful from an education standpoint. It's the most professionally run course I've ever been a part of.
What are the attrition figures for Delta?
I'll try to put it in perspective. It's not just that they're high. Of course, you would expect them to be high, but you're not talking about like a high attrition rate of kids off the street. It's a high attrition rate of the best Green Berets, the best Rangers, the best Marine Raiders. So you have guys that have already been through, selection processes, and guys that are experienced within those teams, and they believe to be themselves the best, to be the best of those teams, or else they wouldn't be trying to come to the next level. And those guys have a massive washout rate. It's humbling.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievably humbling.
It's one of those judgmental places, but you judge yourself, you just don't fit in. You don't feel like you're good enough ever. Because it's always a non-stop improvement. Because if you're not improving, then you're dying, and you're stagnant and you're irrelevant, so you always have to keep up and improving.
So for 20 years, you felt you were behind the power curve?
Always. Even as a sergeant major, like, how did I get here? I snuck in somehow, and now they're gonna find out I'm a phony, and they're gonna kick me out. It's just, every day was a fear.
It is competitive as competitive gets. And if you don't keep up, see ya. This just wasn't the job for you. And they'll even give you praises on the way out the door. They're like, man, you're gonna go back to group, you're gonna be the best Green Beret. You're gonna go back to Ranger Battalion, you're gonna be the best Ranger. And now you're gonna be, and rightfully so, the absolute best CQB guy they've ever seen. And that same guy who will now be the best they've ever seen at CQB isn't good enough to be the Tier 1 unit.
It's such a different level. It's indescribable. Even to this day, I was privileged, honored, and blessed to serve at that organization, and it was nothing but professional warriors. And when you're operating at that level, there's no time except for work and getting the mission done. And the time I was there, it was spent working, getting the mission done.
The U.S. military and this country got 20 years of my best, and Delta Force got 15 years of it. I don't regret it for a second. I mean, I wouldn't go back and change a thing, don't get me wrong, but the facts are the facts are. It took a hellish toll on my body. So frankly, I'm lucky to be alive. There's several guys that I worked with that didn't survive. There's even more guys that are permanently crippled. So, you know what? I'll take being a little bit overweight versus, unfortunately, being in an Arlington cemetery.
Everyone has always said to a T, if there was like ever anyone that was meant to be an operator, it was Bob.
He was like many, many other guys at the unit, you know, I mean, incredible work ethic, incredibly skilled, always seeking to better himself. He was one of the guys that would go to the unit at 11 at night and zero in his sniper rifles. You know what I mean?